Hello, so in this video I'm going to do some of the more difficult homework derivations. So let's take a look at this 2.6 LRS 49. So we always want to show our conclusion first, and now we want to think about how are we going to complete this derivation. So the conclusion is a conjunction, and it's a conjunction of Q with R. So what we're going to want to get eventually is we'll get Q and R, and then we'll adjoin them. How do I know? Well, we want to adjoin them the other way. So this is how the derivation will end. How do I know that? Well, I know this is a conjunction, and I know the most sort of straightforward way to get a conjunction is to get its conjuncts and then put them together, right? We know that. I know that because I know what the rules are. So I think, okay, I want to get this. How am I going to get that? I'm probably going to do it like this. So what we're looking for is to get Q and R. So with that said, let's bring in our premises. So we have premise 1, premise 2, and premise 3. So we want to look now for inference rule applications. We want to see if we can make 2 and 3 and 4 interact. So we look at line 2, and we see that 2 is a conditional if P then R. So for modus ponens, we need P, the antecedent, and for modus tollens, we need the negation of the consequent, we need not R. So we want to look and see, do we have P or do we have not R? And we see that on line 4, we have P, so we can combine line 4 and line 2. We'll say 2 for modus ponens, and then we get R. So that's good. And that's one of the two pieces that we wanted. We wanted R, so we're sort of halfway there. Now what we want to get is Q. So we want to see, can we use R as R? Well, so let's look at our old lines now. We've used if P then R, and we used P. We want to look at line 3. We haven't used that yet. So we see it's a conditional, and we see its antecedent is not Q. So if we get not Q, we can do modus ponens. Okay. Do we have not Q? We don't. We don't have negation Q, so we can't do modus ponens with line 3. What about modus tollens? Well, for modus tollens, we need the negation of the consequent. The consequent is not P, so we need the negation of that, so we need not P. Do we have negation P? We do not. So as it stands, we can't do modus tollens with line 3. Not yet. But can we get not Q, or can we get not P? We want to ask ourselves. We want to use all of these lines, so we need to figure out what we need in order to use them. So we want not Q for MP, and we want not P for MT. Right? I ask myself, how can I use line 3? It's a conditional, so I'm going to use conditional rules, and then I think, okay, there's what I need. Then ask myself, okay, do I have either of those? No, we don't have either of those. Next question, then, can we get either of those? Can we get not Q? Doesn't look like it. Can we get not P? Yes, with line 4, we can get not P because we can apply double negation. So we can say 4dn, and now we can combine 3 and 6 for modus tollens. And we get not Q. So we've advanced. Good. Now, at this point, we've used line 2 and line 3, so we're not going to use them anymore. We remember, however, that we're aiming to get Q and R, and the way we get Q and R is we get Q, and then separately we have R, and we'll combine them. So once we get Q and R, Q, and once we get R, we can put them together, and we'll be done. We'll be able to do a direct derivation. Well, so can we get Q and R? Well, we have R, and here we have not Q, and we can get Q from not Q. We can apply double negation elimination, and now we have the two things that we need to make the conjunction. So we can say 8 and 19 adjoin. Sorry, 8, I don't know where that 19 came from. 8 and 5 adjoin. That's better. And we get Q and R. And that's the conclusion. That's what we want for direct derivation. So this is a correct derivation. Ignore this message because of this giving you all this stuff from these notes. So again, if we were going to submit this, we would need to delete these. But here's the derivation. We think, what do I want to get? I want to get Q and R. How am I going to get that? I'm going to get Q. Separately, I'm going to get R. And I will then adjoin them. Okay, so how am I going to get Q and R? Well, I bring in my premises, and I look for applications for inference rules. I say, oh, I can get R with modus ponens. Can I use this conditional? Yes, by turning P into not P, which gives me not Q. And think, well, now what am I going to do? Oh, I wanted to get Q. Separately, I wanted to get R. Well, I can get Q by double negating this and removing the double negation. So there we go. That's derivation 2.6 LRS 49. We'll look at 2 more derivations in 2 more videos.